Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How is everyone doing? Did you guys enjoy lunch? Yes, yes. It was delicious. I want to welcome you all once again to the 7th annual S.T.E.A.M HBCU conference. We are exactly in the middle of our journey for today, and I'm so glad that you have joined us. Once again, I'm your mistress of ceremonies, Ina Esco, an alum of the LeMoyne College. Now, I am about to introduce someone very special. I know a lot of you in here already know him. He is our president of the LeMoyne College. Very charismatic, very intelligent. I think he has a few jokes to tell as well. But he is going to introduce our keynote speaker for the day, Dr. Christopher B. Davis. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good afternoon, and welcome to LeMoyne College. I'm sure you've already been welcome to our campus, but we are certainly glad to have you with us today. We believe that we're going to be a smarter institution once you all have left our campus. But listen, it is certainly a pleasure of mine to be able to present our speaker on today. She is certainly not a stranger. I'm not sure about what they've got in the printed program and all of that kind of good stuff, but the Cindricka I know is what I would call a serial entrepreneur. I'm never able to keep up with what she's doing. One day she's doing IT, another day she's doing project development, another day she's doing real estate. I'm not sure what she's doing today. As a matter of fact, I asked her while we were sitting there, I said, exactly what are you doing now? She says, now I'm retired. So listen, so when I was going to leave, but when she said she was retired and she's younger than me, I'm hoping she's saying something about how she managed to retire so early. But listen, she is the epitome of what it means to find something to do and always be engaged and do it in a spirit of excellence. She has been professor, she has been developer, she is preacher. I mean, she does a little bit of everything. So I'm not exactly certain what the focus of the presentation is going to be on today, but I am certain that all of us are going to leave enlightened and better informed. So listen, again, it is a pleasure to welcome to LeMoyne College my dear friend, Cindricka Arrington.
Thank you so much, Dr. Davis, for that introduction. I'm excited to be here, and I see that we don't have as many people as when we started earlier today. So I am not going to hold you long like they tell you in church, but I'm super, super excited to be here. And if we could bring up the presentation, that would be great. So I'll just start out with telling you a little bit storytelling about myself as they bring up the presentation. So I'm originally from the Mississippi Delta, and I appreciate it. Hey, y'all see that, don't you? So why do I share that? I share that because I want to ensure that everybody understands that it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter what your parents do or what your parents did. You can be successful, and you don't necessarily have to do it the way your parents did it. Okay, would you agree with that? All right. Next slide. So for me, I'm what they call the Gen X generation. We've literally been adulting since elementary school, literally. We're what you call latchkey kids. We had a key around our necks in the 1st grade. And with having that key around our neck, I left school, or actually home, at 18. I left home before I graduated high school. And it was a rule in my house. When you get 18, you either have to go to work, go to the military, or you go to college. I did all of it. I did it all. I graduated from high school on a Saturday, went to church on Sunday. Monday morning, I was at the MEP station in Jackson, Mississippi, headed to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. As I was graduating from boot camp, my mom called me on a Sunday and she said, hey, you got this full scholarship from Russ College. Russ Knight's in the house. That royal white and pure blue. So she said, listen, you graduate on a Friday, but you're gonna have to be at Russ College Saturday morning at 8 o'clock for new student orientation. I've already signed your documents. I said, yes, ma'am. I said, yes, ma'am. And so that's how I ended up going to college. I didn't think I was gonna go to college. Someone asked me earlier today, hey, how did you know that you were gonna major in computer science? Like, how did you choose your major? I said, you want to know the truth? I went to college. I was in a computer lab. Our mother generation, we had typing was required for us to graduate. It wasn't computer applications. It was typing on a real typing machine, okay, a typewriter. So this sophomore was in a computer lab, and she created me an email address. This is 1996. I was like, I don't know what's an email address? She was like, oh, Lord, where you from? I said, I'm from Greenville, Mississippi. And so she created me. She showed me how to do my first Cindricka at Hotmail email address, which I still have today. And I said, hey, it was so intriguing. I thought she was performing magic before my eyes. I had not seen anything like that. I was like, hey, so what's your major? She said, computer science. What kind of classes do you have to take? I don't want to take biology. I'm not good. Biology is the only, outside of geography, that I received C's in high school. So I knew any career that had to have biology and geography wasn't going to be for me. So she told me what classes you had to take, and that's how I became a computer science major at Russ College, and have not regretted it. But I want to ask you guys this question. How many of you have ever decided to change what you want to do in life? How many of you have ever changed what you want to be in life? Okay, awesome. So I almost saw all the hands in the room come up. Next screen, please. I used to want to marry Michael Jackson. Yeah. I was going to marry Michael Jackson. I was going to be Jackie Joyner Cursor. I want to test your STEAM knowledge right now. So if you guys would go ahead and scan this URL code. Scan that code for me. We're going to do a little icebreaker. I'm not the ask your neighbor, hit your neighbor, talk, that type of person. I'm more of an ask questions, let's see the results on the screen type of person. And so we're going to see on the screen, and we want everybody to participate and do this because there just might be an award at the end. I shared with you, I am a computer science a graduate of Russ College, but I want to also share with you as they are moving us into the icebreaker. When I graduated Russ, I had magna cum laude status, so that's second to the highest, but I didn't have a job. So how did I become an engineer, project manager, director of engineering, biomedical, PMO leader, all this great stuff, core team leader, global, all this stuff? I believed within myself. I also had a faith greater than myself. I always had professors and mentors who told me, you know what? You can do it. You're the best and you're the brightest. I don't care what anybody else says. You have to believe in yourself. I believe that, but I also worked hard. I took a job at FedEx in the clerical pool in fall 2000. I was Miss Russ College. I was president of Alpha Kappa Mu. I was all this stuff in undergrad. I had a 3.71 GPA. I was a full scholarship recipient, but I didn't have no job in 2000. How many of you, is that a good thing? Let me hear you say it. Okay, so we're not about titles, we're about dollar signs, okay? We're about being paid and enjoying what we do for that information. And so it looks like we're having just a little bit of, it's not working, keep it going. Okay, awesome. So I only have 30 minutes. So let me ask you guys just a series of questions. Would you agree or disagree that in order to earn a six-figure or multiple six-figure income, Do you have to have a degree? Yes or no? Exactly. You do not. And why not? Because you can make money a multiple ways, okay? These are six-figure income jobs and roles. Electrician, plumbers, okay? Mechanics, ask me how I know. I'm a real estate investor. So I pay these people to manage my properties. I pay these people to ensure that my tenants are doing well and all of that great stuff. So I cut the checks and I see the check. And so one thing that you want to know about non-traditional careers, and we're not going to be able to do that icebreaker, but that's okay. I want to ask another question. Do you think, yes or no, there would be more than 500,000 STEAM careers in 2030? This is 2030, by the way, is a year that the government has set their forecast on what America will look like, 2030 as well as 2050. Do you believe there would be more or less careers in STEAM in 2030, which is now only 6 years from this year? Exactly. So the statistics actually tell us there would be over 11 million STEAM careers. And you don't necessarily have to get there by majoring in a STEAM degree. However, it helps. And what it does is actually lead you into greater opportunities. You can major in chemistry, mathematics, be a data scientist. You can go out and run somebody's business, okay? You can be the director at anywhere you want to be simply because you have that STEM degree. Now, Dr. Davis, he made light of it. I'm actually what they call one of these precocious people. So if you're a precocious person, if you have precocious friends, you have precocious children. So I get bored easily. Once I have mastered something, I'm ready to do something else. Now at Russ College, I knew I didn't want to be a programmer, but I'm majoring in computer science. I knew it junior year, but I'm on a full ride. I don't have any money. I can't go back home to the Delta. And so I got to make this thing do what it do. I have to finish this degree. So there were support resources, mentors that said, Cindricka, just finish the degree. Once I finished, I ended up working as a secretary, college graduate, Miss Russ, all these accolades. I was a secretary at FedEx in the clerical pool, calling people for jobs to work in the hub and come in and do the hub test. I did that during the day, and on the weekend, I'm working at the mall as a beauty advisor. Why? I got bills. I got a car note, because, you got to have a good car, even though you ain't got no good job. Right? Wrong. But for many of us, that's how we grow up. That's what we see. So that's what we think we need to do. So my car ended up getting possessed. Yep, from the hood. I was moved into Memphis in a studio apartment, and I was just trusting that the Lord would make a way. People kept telling me when I entered this clerical pool, let me tell you why I entered the clerical pool. See, a lot of my friends who graduated in computer science with me, they was too good. I'm not going to be no secretary. I'm this, I'm that, da-da-da. Oh, okay then. I was looking at, I had a cell phone, had a car, had some insurance, okay? And I didn't have parents that I could call. Hey, can you send me 200, 500? My mama was like, say what? How old are you? Oh, okay. What's the rule in my house? So this is what happened. People told me, you're not gonna make it. When I got into this clerical pool, the deal was if you was there for 45 days, you could apply for a full-time job into FedEx. See, it was temporary. I didn't have benefits. I didn't have none of that dental, none of that 401k, none of that. You just got $9 an hour. I'm talking about in 2000. Okay. So these latest, baby, I've been here for 40 years. Every time I apply for a full-time job, I don't never get it. These were the stories I heard all around me. Guess what? Within 45 days, I applied for an associate engineering specialist role, bombed on the interview. I'm not talking about bombed that I did so well. They was like, wow, No, I'm talking about it was asking me these high-level technologies and software procedures and operating systems. But because I went to a HBCU who did not have that type of funding or equipment, I had never heard of it, okay? And then I didn't have proper interview techniques where I knew how to properly respond to the question, okay? So I bombed this interview, but guess what? As I'm sitting in my car crying, still on the property of FedEx, in this all engineering, engineering assurance building, I just cried. I said, Lord, just get the glory out of this, okay? Just get the glory. I'm about to do something else. Within 2 days, I got a phone call. They told me, you were our top candidate. We don't have one female. We didn't even know there was a female that had a degree in computer science from Mississippi at Russ College with a GPA of 3.71. We need you on the team. So y'all know I shouted because I love the Lord, right? You know that was Jesus when he just sprinkled a little, himself on there. You have to give him the glory. And so when I get this associate engineering specialist role, why is that important? That's important because I was not an engineer. I wanted to be a programmer. But remember, I knew junior year, this ain't gonna work for me. But because I didn't graduate from a formalized engineering program, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, chemical engineering, biomedical engineering, they couldn't call me engineer, so I was an engineering specialist. So this was my non-traditional route into the engineering field, where I specialized in systems engineering, okay? That's one example. So here I want to show you guys, this is a career map. And this is actually going to help you on determining your path, okay? Your path into science. Now, please don't think this is not a brag list. I'm of a different school of thought. I knew I would never be working 30 years nowhere. Another reason why I liked computer science is because you can work anywhere. You don't have to come into an office every day. Clap it up. I was the sweat-wearing sweatshirt. Thank you, Dr. Davis. We see you sneaking out. I was the sweatshirt-wearing, sneaker-wearing, military army person, ran track on the campus student, okay? Yes, I'm cute today. I like to dress up and look nice, but that's for y'all. When they ask me where I'm from, what did I tell you, Dr. Davis? I'm straight off my couch in Cordova, Tennessee. But I want to share with you again, so on this map, on the left-hand side, what you will see, those are actually companies in the red that I've worked at, and I'm sorry I don't have a light to shine on them. But I want to share with you, there are different roles that you see at the bottom. So it goes from entry level at the bottom to the top with the arrow on the right-hand side. So that's my industry experience. And I want you to see something. See at the bottom left, it says Strayer University, Swift Transportation, and what you can't see due to the black covering down there, before Strayer, it actually says FedEx. Okay, Swift Transportation, you know that's a trucking company, right? So, because I worked in engineering at FedEx, which is a transportation company, okay? But my role at that company was IT. Now, when they wanted to get funny with my money, guess what? I had to make a little move. Now, because I've always loved higher education, I allowed FedEx to, FedEx had this MBA program, corporate education program. I didn't go straight into grad school. I did work education, so they paid for my MBA. Ain't God good? Looking out for me. Remember, Cindricka ain't got no money. So I actually got the MBA from FedEx. They did not want to increase my pay. I said, you know what? I believe I should earn more money. I did my research. If you are a STEAM major and graduate, we are researchers. That's why everybody wants to hire a STEAM graduate. Believe that. We research. We don't just jump out there. So I actually went to Swift Transportation. They had what's called a project manager / accreditation coordinator position that was available. Because I had worked at S.T.E.A.M as a part-time adjunct once I got the MBA, they said, hey, we could use your skills. I got my first $50,000 job. Now, that may not sound like a lot to you guys, but someone who just graduated from undergrad in 2000, that's a lot of money. Who came out working $32,000, $34,000. Listen, why do we talk about money? Because it is your responsibility to take care of you. Nobody else's. Your responsibility to take care of you. And so in this world, what you want to do is make sure that you are leveraging all of your resources. So if you're in school today, it's not for you just to collect paper of this degree and this diploma. It is actually for you to go out, take care of yourself and your families so that you can live well. But I want to just share with you how I was able to utilize the skill set as an associate engineer, also as an adjunct professor who did a little curriculum development for project management for students at S.T.E.A.M University, and how Swift Driving Academy said, hey, we want to get our driving school accredited. Can you help us? So from there, I just elevated up into operations management at Smith and Nephew. So, Cindricka, how do you go? We think a programmer, we think IT, you make the most amount of money, but then you become a global operations team lead at Smith and Nephew. How do you do that? So, for me, remember, I decided I really didn't want to do the IT thing. I wanted to be on the business side. So you heard, I think Brittany say earlier today, she said, listen, information technology is all that other stuff. It's not the true tech stuff. And so this is an example of how you can utilize your skills and go upward. Who would like to have a copy of this? For yourself, I mean a template, so that you yourself can match skill sets in your classes. Next slide, please. All right, so I want to share with you some real life stories. The programmer who started as a restaurant manager, I actually know this person. The biotech researcher who was a military veteran. Military individuals, we are actually taught discipline. We understand commitment. We understand sacrifice. We understand coming to work on time. We understand going to bed early. We understand getting up early. And we understand being productive. Every employer wants an employee like that. So even though you don't have the paper, they will work with you. If you have a great attitude and a marvelous aptitude, you can have these non-traditional routes into STEM as well. The data scientist who switched from art history, the environmental engineer who began as a construction worker. Next slide. Okay, these beautiful ladies that you see, it's Kenya Williams on the right, real live example. Kayla Williams on the left. Aren't they pretty? They my family, y'all. So I actually asked for their permission because they're a little closer to your age than I am. And so I feel that they're real relative. So of course they're little starers, they're little starers. So Kenya, both from the Mississippi Delta, both graduated from Mississippi State, both were biology pre-med students. Kenya went on to get a master's in biomedical science from Ole Miss Medical Center. Guess what? No matter how bad she tried, she could not get into med school. Do you guys know that people who go to medical school or even start a PhD program, do you know that they don't always finish? But the debt that they've incurred is still owed. Okay, so one thing I love about Kenya on the right, she decided, you know what? No matter what I do, I'm not getting in, and I don't even think I really want to be a doctor anymore. She is now 24 years old. And it's not that she gave up. She just decided, I really don't even want to be in school anymore. I got a bachelor's, I got a master's. What else can I do? So she did an assessment. She wrote down on a sheet of paper the things that she liked. She's very good at math, has always loved math. One thing that Kenya did was she took some programming classes online. And I think it was JavaScript or not SourceForge, Salesforce programming classes. And so as she was taking those classes, she impressed her instructor to the point where as she passed those classes, guess what? He recommended her for a job, and she got a $120,000 job offer to move to Dallas, Texas as a Salesforce programmer. Is that not good? She didn't sit around and complain that the med school test is, culturally biased. It may be, but she took responsibility and ownership of her life, of her career. So now she's a programmer. Does she have a computer science degree like me? No. She took some classes. I'm over here like, go girl. Because when I was coming through, we couldn't just take classes. But that is actually a real alternative for many of you on today. Next slide. So I just really want to emphasize for you guys that your skills are transferable across fields. Once I determined that I no longer wanted to be on the IT side, I wanted to be on the business side. For me, I know IT is support. Business sets the direction. Business sets the stage. Business sets the strategy. So I moved over into project management. I went and got a PMP certification. And somebody asked earlier with Brittany, that certification, it cost about $600 back then. So when you're taking these exams, MCAT exam, CPA exam, whatever it is, it costs money. So you don't want to haphazardly jump into taking a test without having to be properly prepared, study groups, having mentors, things of that nature. Also, there's no single right path. We've heard that about 3 or 4 times, correct? Life experience adds very unique value. Life experience adds very unique value. And it's never too late to pivot. And because I don't have my notes, networking and mentorship matters. So on the next slide, I think it's going to, if you want that career vision map, that's going to be the final one. You'll have the opportunity to scan your phone and you'll get that career vision map. So what are your next steps from this talk? I hope I have inspired you guys. Have I encouraged you? Have I motivated you to activate, to do something? I want to say congratulations to everybody that is here. These are truly the type of forums that made the difference for me in school. I shared with you at Rusk College in the 90s, we did not have what many of you guys have here today. As a result, I entered a Ronald McNair program. I'm gonna keep it 100 because I was a poor kid from the Mississippi Delta. I did a lot of stuff because I needed some money. I needed some washing powder to wash my clothes. I needed some shampoo to wash my hair. I did my own hair. I did a lot of things out of necessity. And one thing I want to share with you, you may or may not be in that situation today, but the hard work is going to pay off for you. Somebody taught me something. Because I was a scholar, I did not believe it because I thought that you just have to be smart. But you actually just have to work hard. Hard work always supersedes talent. Hard work always supersedes talent. You can always outwork the smartest person in the room when they're not putting the work in. You're going to succeed. So for you guys, somebody asked the question earlier, I don't know what I want to do in my life. What is your recommendation? 1, write down the activities and classes that you like. What outfits, how do you want to dress on your job? How do you want to dress? Do you want to dress up every day? Do you want to wear t-shirts and jogging pants? Like, how do you want to dress? That makes a difference. So write those things down. Google or AI career fields that involves those likes. Brittany actually said something very similar to this earlier. Then research the requirements for that field. One thing I want to share with you, when I moved from the transportation industry into medical device, meaning, yes, I served as a biomedical program manager. I'm literally over biomedical engineers, chemical engineers, clinicals, regulatory people that are working with FDA. They had to report to me on their projects and program. I didn't go to school and take not one class for biomedical, medical device, anything. How was it possible? I had a PMP certification. I had a STEM bachelor's. I had a business master's. I also had a master's in IT that was supposed to be a PhD, but I flunked out. Amen. I flunked out because I kept getting promoted on my job. Then I had a whole family I had to take care of. And for me, it was more important to be there for my family than it was to do some papers. So I flunked out on my PhD, and I said, hey, can you give me something? I done paid some money to you guys. Can you give me something for all these doctoral classes? So they gave me a second master's at that time. So I used my skill set from project management. Every company, every organization uses project management. Did you know that? Whether it's a university, think about it, AutoZone, everybody uses project management. Everyone in my family is like a nurse practitioner, a dentist, or something. Everybody we got like 60 biology degrees in my family. What I told you, I'm dumb on biology. Don't ask me nothing about the body. I got C's and D's in school in biology, okay? But I knew they were making more money than me. So I looked for a career field and industry that would have the skill sets that I could bring to it. I had worked in IT, I had worked in operations, I did a lot of stuff, strategic planning, higher education, adjunct teaching. Found a company, the #1 spine company in the world, I'll say it's Medtronic, and I applied for a position. I instantly received a $50,000 increase from one company to the next. How long y'all think I took to give my notice? It didn't take me long. Okay, and so again, I want to just remind you, the same friends that were too good to work in the mall on the weekend, or that was too good to be a secretary after you was Mr. and Miss everything in undergrad, they still too cool for school. So how was I able to retire so early? I simply didn't have a lot of debt. I had at one point, but I worked hard. I created a plan. I increased my income. I moved industries. I looked at my skill set. I got certifications. I had told you guys I believe in God. So I do have a prayer life, devotion, all that good stuff. And if you don't, you have to believe in something, and you must believe in yourself. You must believe in yourself. You must be your own cheerleader. You really must. You must pat your own self on the back and know that you can do it. But don't be so prideful to not ask people for help when you need it. Hey, I don't understand this. Can you help me? Can you help me to understand this? You may have to do things you're uncomfortable doing. I don't actually like to be out at night, but I asked a mentor, and he honestly didn't have time outside of at night. And of course, his wife and everything was there to help me on my homework. Being a Ronald McNair Scholar from Ole Miss while I was at Russ College, PhD students in computer science was helping me with my homework. The students at Russ, they just thought I was a genius. They was like, this girl's smart, she's getting all these A's on the test. That's because while they were hopping on the yard and skipping and all that, I was trying to keep my scholarship. Because my mama told me, you can't come back here, baby. Okay? And I didn't want to go back, y'all. I didn't want to go back. I got a little taste of Memphis. I said, I can't go back. So once you have done all that research, you've looked at your skill sets. If you like to do hair, if you're an artist, all that stuff, I'm telling you, you can make some money off of it. Right now, a graduate of Hollis Price High School is at Tuskegee University, roommates with my daughter. She's doing hair, she's getting paid, and she's a biology pre-med student, Thurgood Marshall Scholar. She's working it. And oh, by the way, gifted people, STEAM people are very creative individuals. You talked about it before, innovative, very creative individuals. So you want to create a resume. Let me give you some tools and resources for that. Harvard Business Review puts out videos on YouTube. They advise you on what you need to put on a today's resume, okay? Somebody like me, I told you guys I get bored easily. So I done gained a little weight, my daughter done moved out, and it's time for me to roll on, okay? So I'm re-entering the workforce. So because I'm re-entering the workforce, my fancy resume from 10 years ago, it doesn't cut it. I gotta cut it down, make it a little cuter, and change the language. I can no longer say I have 24 years of experience because they have automatically priced me out of the work field because they're gonna have to pay me too much money. So I can't put 24 years. I have to use words like extensive experience, okay? How do I know this? I'm looking at what Cornell University and Harvard, the top business schools, okay? And so these are the resources. This is going to help you guys. Another thing, listen, use Google and AI. My daughter just gave me a tip on AI the other day that helped me on a project that I'm working on, and it blew my mind. Let me give you a second AI tool. It's called Cloud.ai. If you're not using it already, it's better than ChatGPT. CLAUDE.ai. CLAUDE.ai. So these are your next steps if you're looking to certifications, classes, or degrees. I want to make sure, I know this is a STEAM conference. Okay, I hope that I've driven the point home. If you are a trade specialist, I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I was blessed to see some young ladies do hair in the bathroom as I was preparing to come back here. And I was just in awe. I said, girl, what you doing? You finna get some puffs? She said, no, I'm finna get a wig installed. I said, wow. But I couldn't stay to see about it. But listen, those type of skill sets, you sometimes just have to get certifications or classes to be successful. Next slide, please. Okay. So I want you to be able to plot your own STEM path for yourself. And so this is a template of a career vision map. I believe also as you scan this, you will also see a template that I have used to prove. I kind of use it as a brag list. Sometimes we need to encourage ourselves. When things aren't going your way, when you don't get that job from that interview and you think you actually did well. And so it helps to be able to write down all of your accomplishments. It doesn't matter how long ago it was. You want to be able to write down projects, awards, certificates. When someone, maybe a professor, gave you a good feedback on your paper, you want to hold those things because as you apply for positions and internships, they're going to ask you for recommendations, okay? They're going to ask you in your interview, so what would a colleague or a professor say about you if I asked them about you? What would they say? And so that feedback is going to be in that template as well. So thank you guys. I feel like I've overtalked my time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask if you have any questions. We did not get the opportunity to do the icebreaker, but I do want to extend, again, I have a little bit of time as an empty nester. And so I actually am doing mentoring. Now, typically, I've only done it with I can't think, SWE, Society of Women Engineers, and somebody here, Black Girls Code. So those have been the only groups I've specialized in. But I am considering or, thinking about doing mentoring with others. So if you guys are interested in that, my name is Cindricka Arrington. And so I'm the only Cindricka in the world, okay? Over 40. I'm the only Cindricka in the world. Okay. So my name is spelled Cindricka. You can hit me up on Instagram if you're interested in mentoring. I will be doing it as group coaching, free, of course, for young people who are interested in STEM and in business and entrepreneurship, because I am in real estate as well. So, but if you're interested specifically on navigating your collegiate career and things like that, I do have a daughter who got 13, 14 full rides into college after high school. She made a 34 on the ACT. She's currently a distinguished presidential scholar at Tuskegee. Yes, I brag on my baby. That's my only baby. And she's all-American. She's all these great things. And so I would love to be a mentor to you as someone once was to me, who changed my life forever. They told me stuff that I had never heard before because of where I grew up. So if that's you and you're interested, or you're a professor in the room and you have some students that may be interested, feel free to hit me up or get my number before I leave. I'd love to help. Thanks, guys.
Let's give it up one more time for our amazing keynote, Cindricka Arrington. Great job, lady. I really enjoyed it. Look, we need to collab on some things. Get this money. Okay? Because really, as I listened to her story, she had me reminiscing on my experience and my journey here at Lemoyne and transitioning into my career. Like, it could be a whole thing. You have all these accolades and you can't get the job that you're aiming for, right? So that's how we learn to pivot. That's how we learn to network and all the things. So, Cindricka, I really enjoyed it. Let's give her one more round of applause. That's what I'm talking about. I wonder what amount you capped out at. We gonna talk later. What you capped out at? That's what I want to know. Because we making more than that now. Okay, I like money discussions. I truly do. Okay, but at this time, let me give you guys some pointers on the remainder of the day. I want you to follow your host to the Dorothy Harris Lounge for a more intimate conversation with our HBCU student researchers and high school researchers. And then you all will join us back for the Magic Mike's podcast with some of your favorite community health workers. We're going to be talking about mental health, and believe me, you're going to enjoy this discussion. Thank you.